you want to know my opinion on what I think, just keep on watching. Hey guys, what's good? It's your girl Nisi here, and I'm back with a new video. And just a quick big trigger warning, I guess. There's some construction happening next door, so you might hear some bangs, etc., and like the chainsaw. But yeah, first of all, I'm gonna leave a timestamp for when this video actually starts. But guys, I went to see Chris Brown on Sunday, and guys, woo! Oh my gosh, it was 10 out of 10. So let me just take y'all through real quickly. The venue was trash. It was at the Co-op Live. That's like the new it spot for like artists to perform. They had us waiting out there for 2 hours, and then they were giving their fake apologies, saying that something to do with this, da 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 da. And because of that, I ended up missing Bryson Tiller. So Bryson Tiller was opening up, and then obviously it was Chris Brown. But yeah, big shout out to him. I have done a YouTube shorts on it, so do check it out. But yeah, everything was chef's kiss, from his dancing, of his singing. You know what I mean? Because he has been in the industry for what, 2 decades plus. But everything was on point. I would love to see him again. Shout out to his dancers. He gave them the spotlight and they had their time, each of them, to do their little, you know what I mean, what they're really good at. But yeah, the whole production, just he took us through memory lane, you know what I mean? When he was like babyface Chris Brown, yo. But yeah, it was really good. I'm still fanning out. And he had a huge surprise for us, and he brought out the one and only, my Zodiac twin, 50 Cent, aka the most pettiest man on God's earth. He brought him out, he performed Many Men, and I can't remember what was the other one, but I was fanning out. Like, I was so gassed. I was like, because we just didn't expect it. It went from sweet, nice R&B to rap. You know what I mean? About that live, Queens, Jamaica, New York. Oh my gosh, I've always wanted to see 50 Cent, and I've always missed him. He was performing at Park Life, and I didn't go Park Life this year, and I think he performed at Park Life last year. So he's been coming to my city, and I've always missed him. And he brought out some of the members from G Unit, so it was mad. My sister, she's a fan of him, and she went toilet just as he came out. So I know she caught the last bit of his performance. I know she was vexed, but shout out to you, Chris Brown. Even though you came to Manchester, my city, and you got arrested, and they taxed you of 5 mil. Like, guys, just eat that, 5 mil, not £500 or £5 or 5,000, £5 million, not dollars, pounds, British, UK sterling, pounds. But I love you, Chris, and oh my gosh, it was so. I'm still like, ah. That's why I was meant to do this video yesterday, but listen, I stood up through the whole concert, so 3 hours stood up. I was in heels, dancing. I love the crowd. A lot of people were stood up, so I couldn't sit down even if I wanted to. People obviously had their phones out, but people were dancing, singing their heart out. Like, it was good vibes. Shout out to people in my city. It was just good vibes, man. Ooh, not be a spider. But yeah. So for today's video, as you already know, and I hope you've seen the film already, I'm going to be talking about Tyler Perry's new film, Straw. The main character, Taraji P. Henson, shout out to her. She's such a good actress. But yeah, it's been divided on the TikTok streets as usual, but most people are like, Tyler Perry, this ain't it. Which he's used to. He does his films based around the black woman, black family. Like, he was brought up by a single mom. You know what I mean? He does talk on a lot of stuff that he knows himself. But obviously, we're kind of tired of it. It's just like the slavery films. Like, we're tired. Like, can we see something else? And I feel like that's why Sinners has just smashed it in the box office, because it was just refreshing seeing, a film. Obviously, it was set in the whole Jim Crow era in Mississippi, but it had Asians, Chinese in there, Irish, obviously the Black Americans, Native Americans, vampires. Like, it was just different, and it had a dark skinned woman who was basically the hero. Like, when do you ever hear that? So it was very refreshing. So that's why that's just smashed at the box office. And then obviously Michael B. Jordan playing a twin, like, you know what I mean? Like, shout out to Ryan Coogler, like, he's always just, you know what I mean? His films always go off, you know what I mean? But yeah, so Mr. Tyler Perry, sorry about the noise, guys, but yeah, people are dragging him, but as usual, he don't care. People are usually dragging him about the bad wigs. Hello, sir, if you want to hire me, holla at your girl. But he don't care. That's what makes me laugh. People always drag him, his movies, and he'll still be always cashing it in. Like someone's supporting him and someone's watching him because, you know what I mean? Look at the big studio that he's got that used to be funny enough. No, I don't think it was it a KKK camp or something like something to do with those like white racist Americans and now Confederate. I don't know if it's to do with the Confederate flag, but yeah. Shout out to him though, like he is a black man doing it still. Hate him or love him. The thing with me, so one of my favorites from him is A Fall from Grace. I love that film. It's realistic, like it happens. You know what I mean? I like a lot of the films he does do with Taraji when Taraji is the main character. Then Medea films, nope. Soon as I see it, swipe, next, blocked. Like, no, I'm not entertaining that. I don't know black men, dressing up as a woman or pretending to be I just can't. And the only person I could take doing that is Martin Lawrence in Big Mama's House. But Martin Lawrence is a comedian, like Tyler Perry's not a comedian, so it worked. And Eddie Murphy in Not a Professor, but even then, you know what I mean? But yeah, those Medea films, it's an absolute no. But yeah, so I'm gonna roll the clip of Tyler Perry saying why he makes the type of films he makes, and I'll be back with my.
I say nothing to those people who think that my films focus on the struggle of black women because they're right. It does. I'm in doing this. Let me tell you something. If I get an opportunity to put a black woman on screen for people to see them in love, in happy, in joy, in pain, in struggle, what I'm doing is a service to all people, so that people will know that black women are not just strong and one thing. They are all things, and they go through all of these different things. So to have an opportunity to be able to paint all of these pictures and all sides of it is something that I'm paying homage to my mother, to my aunt, to my sisters, and friends and cousins, and the things that they all went through. So that's what I would say to that. And
Just heard him. He's paying homage, obviously, especially to his mom. His aunt is, yeah. I get it. I feel like we just need a balance. Yeah, we can have the struggle black woman and her having to be strong and hold the whole family down. But we do want to see the black woman in a soft life and, living her best life and married and, happily married, not them ones like, you know what I mean? I hated that film and I struggled to watch it with Jill Scott and Janet Jackson. Why did I get married? Even though I'm not fat, the way they treated Jill Scott in that film, just that airplane scene where a husband was like, "Well, you're gonna have to drive. I'll get a coach, and like I'll meet you." Like the way he treated her, and there will be not just black men, but there will be men treating their women like this, and it's just like it's crazy. And if she wanted to ride on the plane, she should have booked a double seat. Now, listen, I'm black, as you can see. I do have aunties who are that size, like what Jill Scott was in that film. And yeah, man, like just that alone, it does happen in real life, you know what I mean? But at the same time, it was triggering, even though I'm not a plus size woman. But it was just horrible, man. Like, yeah, he has got a lot of trash films. And the thing I have with him is how he treated Monique, with the whole thing with Oprah Winfrey. She still needs an apology. Shout out to Lee Daniels. He was the only one that was big enough, man enough to apologize publicly, behind the scenes and publicly to Monique. But yeah, I do like Tyler Perry's The Oval. That's a series he has. I do watch it. Obviously, it's got the bad wigs, it's got the dramatics as usual, but I do like it. I find it funny. Even though it's meant to be serious, it makes me laugh, but I do like that from him. Yes, so this film. So I'm gonna put it on the side here, me logging in to watch it. So I didn't have Netflix. I literally bought Netflix to watch this, you know, for my research, for content. It's bad. I was eating my food and it literally put me off. Because straight from the jump, it's dramatic. It's like this film sums up to what else can go wrong. It was just one thing after another. And I'm not trying to spoil it if you haven't seen it. But definitely go and watch it and then come back to this so everything makes sense. But we've all had one of those days. Doesn't matter what color you are, but especially being a black woman, trust me, we've all had one of those days. Like even me the other day, last week, I broke my left-handed side mirror, and then I don't get paid until Friday. This Friday coming, so you know what I mean. I've had to drive all week with it being jacked up, and it's just heard. It's just in this film. There's just one thing after another, and you know what I mean. Money doesn't grow in trees. So then she's like, "Oh well, you have to wait till this day so I can pay you." Da, 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 da. It's horrible. I can relate to a lot. So she has one child. She's a single mother. I can relate to that, and she works in like a superstore. I can relate to that. I've worked in the UK's biggest supermarket. Now, the way these customers were talking to her, it couldn't be me. Seeing Taraji in this film, it's me when I was like a child or teenager. I was so nice, so naive. People would talk to me crazy, do crazy stuff to me, and you know what I mean. I would never fight back. I'm not that same girl. Like you couldn't, if you watch the film, you know how that woman at the desk was talking to her and treating her. That couldn't be me. And that's one thing I rate Americans who work in fast foods, especially when the customers think they can go back on. I love that you come round and you basically fight it out. I love that. Now in the UK we don't do that, but I'm gonna cuss you out definitely for sure. But yeah, I do love that when I see those videos and you've just got the colleague and the customer literally fighting, throwing chips. Like I'm here for it because the way certain customers feel entitled, I feel like they can speak down to people that work in a fast food or supermarket. It's crazy. But yeah, again, she's a single parent. Her child has health conditions. I have a child with disabilities. Like, listen, it's not easy. So I could relate a lot to it. And what happened to it in the film, it can happen. Like it is realistic. Again, Taraji with the acting, like she's just so on point, and she does really well when she's like this dramatic and this, you know what I mean, like crazy. I'm gonna give the film. I want to give it a 6 out of 10. I did like it. I wouldn't watch it again. It's very depressing. It's very triggering. Obviously, people are saying it's the female version of A Pursuit to Happiness that Will Smith and Jaden Smith did. Again, I watched that film probably once, twice max, never again because it's just so sad. And it's just a person that really wants to get on in life, but they can't. Like they've just got bad luck. So that's the type of film it's given. You know what I mean? You want to do right, pay your taxes and all that kind of stuff, have the 9 to 5 job, but just always people, just daggers is always coming for you. So in this, you know, Taraji, she had a landlord coming for her. She had a boss. She had the child's school coming for her. She had the people at the bank. She had this police officer that tried to run off the road. You know, there was a robbery. Then she had the police on her back. Just trying to think of all the things. Like, you know what I mean? She just had so much on her back. And then she had like them random customers trying to come for her. It was just a lot. I'm surprised she didn't kill herself. I'm not trying to say who she killed, but you know when it just gets too much and you're just like, you know what, I'm done. You know what I mean? She didn't have no support, no family, no friends. You know what I mean? Well, she had one colleague, but you know, you need that village. We need to really bring back the village. But yeah, man, I'm gonna give it a 6 out of 10. It is very sad, traumatic. So if you've not seen it, prepare yourself. You're gonna leave. Like if I went to the cinemas and watched that, I felt so depressed after watching it. It's very sad, you know. But yeah, let's get into some people's reactions.
So I finally watched the movie Straws because I wanted to see what everybody's beef was with Tyler Perry. And before we get into the review of the movie, I just want to say that Tessa, the bank teller, deserves to go to the farthest part of hell. She pissed me off the whole movie. Now, let me start the review by saying that I know that a lot of people have beef with Tyler Perry because a lot of his movies play on the grief and the trauma of Black people in the Black community. Now, while I can understand why people would have an issue with that, I also feel like they're really important topics that we as the Black community need to talk about because we often just ignore them and pretend like they don't exist. To me, all of the themes in the movie make perfect sense. In the beginning, we see a woman who is struggling. She's down on her luck. And as she's down on her luck, everything bad that can possibly happen just keeps happening. She's about to get evicted. She's struggling with poverty. Her kid is sick. The job won't stop messing with her. She keeps getting called from the school. Like, if you've ever been a parent and you're having one of the worst days of your life and everything bad just keeps happening, you completely relate to that. And sometimes you do feel like you just want to snap, like this is the last straw. And then add to that she's a woman. I also think that people may have struggled with the idea that Taraji P. Henson was a black woman and that there were other black women who were surrounding her and risking themselves for her and standing for her, because a lot of times we don't really see that happen. And I'm ultimately happy that a black woman didn't have to die in this movie, though that probably would have been the likely outcome. And even seeing it happen as a figment of her imagination was kind of traumatizing. And I'm not going to lie, your boy was on the verge of tears. Now, on the other end was mental illness and mental health issues, and how she did not recall that her daughter had actually passed away. And she was going through the motions that entire day because she was in the midst of a mental breakdown and what could have been already pre existing mental health issues. And the reason I think that's important is because as a community, we as black folks don't always talk about how mental health impacts us and how there are things that can lead up to a mental breakdown and cause mental health to start or show up in ways that we didn't think it would before. Now, the sad reality of the daughter dying was also really hard and probably traumatizing for a lot of people, but it also does show what it's like for people who are living in poverty. There was clearly a lack of health access that she needed for her daughter who was sick. And a lot of mothers who are dealing with that, or parents who are dealing with that, will go to the end of the moon to get their kids help and make sure their kids stay alive. And that's essentially what she was doing in her mind. I also think that we have to realize sometimes that movies are supposed to be over dramatized in order to get the point across. And I guess the acting wasn't the best for all of the characters, but Taraji ate down.
What did I say at the beginning, guys? I seen Taraji, being dramatic. Like, yo, her acting, like he said, ate down. Tyler Perry, with his thing, like his films, he always has like the actors who are not that good at certain points. And big up Tiana Taylor, she was a detective in this. Her acting was fire. But yeah, the main with Tyler Perry, as long as the main's bringing it, he's not really bothered about everybody else. Sherry Shepherd, she was in it. She did her thing. I'm not really keen on her in real life, but yeah, she did the thing. But yeah, he spoke on a lot. I agree with him. Shout out to him. I use a lot of his videos in my clips. Yeah, like he said, I get it. Tyler Perry's always doing these films back to back, but at the same time, it is good that he's shedding light on it. And we can relate, like he said at the beginning. The job's messing with her. You got the school. The film's called Straw. She's on her last straw. Like he said, she's got that bad luck, what I mentioned before. Like, it's just one thing after another. I love that he touched on mental health because mental health is real, especially in the black community. We don't talk about it. We don't get help. You know what I mean? We don't get help enough or to seek help. Again, that village, she was a single parent and a single parent of a seriously ill child. And sadly, yeah, she had like a mental breakdown. That bereavement, the bereavement stage, yo, it's different for everyone. So her child died, but in her mind, her child was still alive. And it's just sad, you know what I mean? Again, bereavement, gotta find money for her funeral now. Her landlord's on her back, just running her down, and she's explaining to the landlord, all right, but they don't care. Work's messing with her, the customers are messing with her. Like, it's just a lot. Like, that film was a lot. Again, we're all human. I've had days like that. Obviously, not that bad, but when bad things just keep happening back to back, just bad news. You know what I mean? That's why when the first bad thing happens, you have to stay positive, because if you start thinking negative or you say, "Oh, what's next?" Trust me, something's gonna follow up and come. But I agree with everything he said. Yeah, like he said, I did get teary eyed because they showed her dying, which realistically and in America, she probably would have got killed or unalived. Sorry, but that wasn't the case. So shout out to Tyler, because I know he was probably conflicted about how we're gonna end this film. But But yeah, it was. By the end, I was ready to cry. Like, it's very sad. It's very traumatic. Like, shout out to her. Her acting was everything. And with Tyler Perry films, he only gives you a short amount of time to put, what I mean, do your acting, learn the lines, the acting, and do this film together. Like, he doesn't play with his timing. But I know Taraji, she's a pro. You know what I mean? She'd been in the game. So shout outs to her. Like, her acting, just the facial, because you gotta remember this ain't real, so just her, like, her facial Whew, I'm literally getting chills at her acting was A1. But yeah, man.
Stop watching Tyler Perry movies like Straw if you are a woman who wants to experience abundance and ease and breakthrough and flow in your life. I'm going to give you the brain science of why Straw is literally the most dangerous type of storytelling for women who look like Taraji's character, right? Here's the bottom line. When you're watching movies like Straw, your brain does not know it's fiction, babe. Your brain literally will emotionally attach to the trauma that is on the screen, and then your nervous system relives it. How do I know that? Why do you think there are so many trending videos of people saying, oh my God, I was so triggered by Straw. Oh my God, I cried my lashes off. It was so emotional. Because your brain is literally getting emotionally attached and invested in it. And remember, your brain doesn't know the difference between real or imaginary. Babes, that means that when you're watching these traumatic, trauma dumping type movies like this, even if you say, I can relate to it, I know what it's like to be a struggling single mom, I feel so seen. Remember, to your brain, it is taking this as a lived experience that you want to repeat. The brain science is very clear, right? Neurons that fire together wire together. If you keep on watching movies about struggle and heartache and betrayal and breakdown, that is what you're going to get more of because your reticular activating system is being programmed to believe that you want more of that. Babes, I'm going to close with this. When you are consuming quote entertainment or movies that reinforce negative things, you are making that your assumption, and your brain, your mind, your body is taking it as truth. Babe, Straw is not healing. It's literally recycling the same old story for women who look like Taraji about struggle and being strong and sacrificing and having a breakdown to be seen. It's the same old story. And in 2025, like, I am inviting you and encouraging you to assume something better in order to experience something better. Some of you are going to be all up in the comments, possibly, potentially, saying that this is representation. No, it's not. It's actually recycling the same old trauma story, and it's creating a subconscious agreement with struggle, right? If you truly believe in manifestation, babe, if you truly believe in identity shifting, you are invited to feed your mind the type of stories that you actually want to experience, not the stories that are exhausting to you, right? The ones that you're literally focusing on outgrowing. It's not relatable. It's not insightful. Movies like Straw, Tyler Perry Straw, it's literally not insightful. It is instructions for your brain to give you more of it. Babe, stop normalizing struggle. Stop normalizing injustice and instead assume ease, assume overflow, assume the thing that you desire. If you want to experience a better life, babe, start telling yourself better stories. Follow for more. Until next time, it's already written and so it is.
Guys, if she bangs that board one more time, that's why I was laughing at the end because I was just like, I can't take with the banging. She just kept banging the board. But she told some truths. That's what I said. We're tired of these slavery films, these, stories in the hood. You know when I Boys in the Hood, I love it and all, but I don't need to watch that because I can literally go outside and you know what I mean? Not now, but growing up, you know what I mean? Growing up in the 90s, it was like that, even though that's set in Compton. You know what I mean? The UK has their own hoods, their own slums, you know what I mean? So I get what she's saying. Top Boy, people love Top Boy over here in the UK. That's more like of a recent times of being in the hood in the UK, specifically London. So I worked in a posh area in Manchester, and I remember working. And then my white colleagues were like, "Oh, did you watch Top Boy last night? Da, 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 It's really good in it." Da, 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 da." And it's funny how excited they get because they do not know about that life, that world. I don't get excited about it because I grew up in that kind of, area, etc. So I definitely agree with her, manifestation, it's getting into your subconscious. So things you watch, things you listen to, things you read, you have to be careful because you know what I mean? You're taking it in even though you think, oh, I can shut off or I'm just gonna watch it and did no, it really gets into the psyche, you know what I mean? It gets into the brain, the part of your brain you don't even use, you know what I mean? And it can become triggering, and that's why when you watch stuff you do cry or you do laugh or you do get scared, if you're into horror films like me, because it's getting into your psyche, you know what I mean? Like it's deep. So I definitely agree with what she said. You do have to be careful what you watch. So if you're watching these Tyler Perry films back to back or these traumatic films, You're literally manifesting all that BS into your life. I definitely agree with that. So do be careful. Again, I would have watched it to support Taraji, but I obviously watched it for, content reasons more than anything. When something's trending, it's just like good or bad. It's just like, let me see this, you know what I mean? But yeah, I hear that picture. I'm sorry, the banging on the board in that picture, like, I get what she's saying. Tyler Perry, we want more films and series with a black woman in her soft era living her best life, happily married with kids. Okay, I'm putting it there, like, you know what I mean? You've got the idea, go and write something, get a really amazing actress and actor, and do the damn thing.
The person who pissed me off the most in Straw, it wasn't the racist cop. It wasn't the prick of a boss. It wasn't the bullshit ass landlord. It was Tessa's ass. Tessa, why couldn't you count out $521 and some change? Janiyah is asking for $521 and change to cash this check. She is not asking you to clear the goddamn register, which is what you're doing, right? You're insinuating that she's asking for all the money. Janiyah put the gun on the table and said, cash my check, not clear the register, okay? On top of that, Janiyah Banks there, okay? This is the problem. This is the part that's like, wait a minute. Janiyah Banks there. Why wouldn't she just tell her, hey, you don't have your ID? Go ahead and deposit it, endorse it, deposit it, and then go to the ATM and take out what you need to take out because it's only $521.
Yes, thank you. Obviously, people were pointing out just stupid stuff that was happening in the film. Not realistic. Like, the banks never go that hard. It's really not that deep, especially when your name's on it. They were like, oh, well, we can't cash it unless we have your ID. Listen, I cashed a check not too long ago. As long as it's got your name on it and it's not someone else's, they can cash it. And like she said, she goes to that bank all the time. Like, they know who she is. So, you know what I mean? Like, there's little things like that. You know what I mean? Little mistakes he did in the film. I don't know if he does it on purpose or is it because he rushes his films. But yeah, when it's just like, come on, Tyler Perry, like, it's 2025, do better. We know, I know specifically because I've just cashed a check recently. If you go to the bank and it's in your name, and especially when you go to that bank all the time, trust me, they can cash it, they can put it in your bank account. But like she said, they could have deposited it and then she could have just drew it out from the cash machine. Like, come on. But yeah, for me, it was Glenn. Glenn was the worst character for me. The racist white cop, we're used to that BS, you know what I mean? But for me, it was her boss. Mm-mm. Could it be my manager? Could it be my boss? He was doing way too much, way, way, way too much. But yeah, it's between the woman at the bank and the boss for me, for sure, for sure. Even the landlord was trying, but we get it. When people don't pay their rent, what do you expect? You're not gonna have a happy landlord. Listen, advice, take anything from this video, always pay your rent. As soon as you get paid, please pay your rent. Don't be booking flights to go out or go to a nice restaurant or buy clothes. Pay your rent, you know what I mean? Because it started raining, she just lost her car. She just got a ticket from the feds and almost got killed by the feds. And then she goes home and all her stuff's out on the grass or on the lawn. And then her neighbors are just looking at her and she's bawling and she's like, why? Why? And the landlord's like, I told you, you know what I mean? You said you were going to pay me at this time. You didn't. And I said, I'm going to put your stuff out. And that's what happened. You know what I mean?
So cold along that blood clot test. I want a blood clot like yo. We eat you like blood clot poison. We eat you. What Tessa? Nobody likes you, Tessa. Nobody likes you. You are the real villain. You are the villain. All she wanted was her $521. That's all Janiyah wanted. That's all she wanted. You think you're all that in a bag of chips because you're a bank teller and you're not. Janiyah should have beat your ass. Janiyah should have rocked your world and knocked that bun on the other side of your head. Because why would you give her all the money in the draw? Like, why would you give her all the money? Janiyah said all she wanted was her $521. Okay? And you had no empathy, no nothing for her. Even the old lady told you that you were a piece of shit. Okay? Even the old lady had to tell you. Okay? I don't know. Maybe it's just me. Well, obviously it's not just me. But I did not like her. I did not like her, and the she annoyed me. Oh, you must have kids. Did your kids spill a slushy on the check? No, it's blood. It's blood. Okay, since you want to be employee of the year so bad, I did not like her.
So when I like you. Oh my gosh, I loved his clip. It was everything. Now, I know in my last clip I did say I feel like the manager was worse, but now him breaking down everything, yeah, it's probably her. She's probably the worst character. She was doing the most. And you know what I've noticed? When black people reach banks, lawyers, the high up basically in the corporate world, that's how they go on. Especially if you're like a cleaner or you work in a super, the low end jobs, the low paying jobs. They look down on you, they treat you bad. She was just doing the most, and again, a customer that sadly was got caught up in everything. She had to check her like, "Yo, you're doing too much." You know what I mean? It's really not. You know what I mean? Things really wasn't that deep. She definitely should have popped her, like he said. She should have rearranged her hairstyle because she definitely deserved 1, 2 slaps, definitely. Because looking back now in that film, she was doing way too much. And that's why I like Sherry Shepherd's character. She was the manager. You know what I mean? You would think she'd be doing the most, but no, it was this little co-worker here. But no, I agree. She only wanted you to deposit her check or cash or give her the cash, and you're drawing up bare money and just throwing it at her. And even, you know what I mean? Taraji was like, what's her name? Janai. She was like, what are you doing? I get it. She put the gun down, but she only put the gun down because you were pissing her off and you were like, no, we need ID. But when you seen that gun, you see how fast you could give her the money. Well, you gave her too much, but you know what I mean. But no, I loved his response. So on point. Winner like your 1, 2 slaps is definitely needed.
Tyler Perry, you bitch. Man, I'm not even fucking done.
Gosh, I'm here for it. Listen, a man that can tap into his emotion, that cries, he's not afraid. I am here for it, especially when he's that alpha male. It turns me on to see you cry and express your emotion. I know for a lot of girls, it's like, why are you crying? Why are you doing not? No, men need to cry just like we. Us women, we cry all the time. Any little thing, book our toe, we're crying. Men, I love to see it because you lot be holding stuff in, and you lot, like the biggest killer for men is the S word. I can't even say it on here. That's the biggest killer, like the number one killer. A lot of men end up unaliving themselves. And it's because they can't cry and they can't express or they can't talk to their spouse or friends because people might think they're weak or think they're weird. So him, the way he's like, Tyler, you bitch. Like you knew what you were doing making this film, that you're gonna have people by the end of it like, uh-uh. I was holding back tears. It's like, you ain't gonna get me, Tyler Perry. I know what you're doing. But again, if it would have ended the way that they showed us, I would have been bawling because, yo. So this is what I mean. I think he wanted to end the film that way, but Taraji was probably told him, like, no, that's too much. You know what I mean? She probably knew he was going to get dragged, but to end it the way he wanted to end, no, no, no. Look at him. Man's bawling and calling him out his name just for how the film is. So imagine it ended that other way.
You see now y'all gonna make me go off. This is why I don't like internet movie critics, bro. Because y'all obviously don't know art. Talking about you're tired of Tyler Perry showing black women struggle. That's not even what the fucking movie's about. And first of all, I'm not even a big fan of Tyler Perry like that. But he does have movies with black women on the rise, with black women doing way better than black men, white men all together. You know what I'm saying? He shows us in a different light all the time. This is a movie about mental health and people that struggle and are not seen. It's not specifically for black women only, bro. Like, this film touched me. There's certain parts in the film where everybody was feeling her. Everybody was feeling that pain, bro. This is the right movie for this exact moment because there's people out there right now working 2-3 jobs just to get by. And they don't feel seen because they feel taken advantage of. Their bosses are down their necks. They can't pay their rent. Landlords don't give a shit. Nobody cares about other people's pain because everyone's in their own problem. This has nothing to do with yo black women on the show. Yo, like y'all just don't get it. That's how I can tell y'all don't watch movies. Y'all just watch it for the entertainment. Y'all don't think. You know what I'm saying? Like, or maybe it's just me. Maybe I actually watch movies and I analyze it and I comprehend. See, that's why they saying that people are getting dumber and dumber. Because it's like, y'all read a book. Y'all just say y'all don't like the book. My day, there was reading and comprehending. So you gotta watch the movie and you gotta comprehend it. It's nothing to do with, oh, just black women struggling, bro. There's nothing to do with that. Like, and if that's what you're seeing, you need to stop fucking watching movies. Because obviously, you don't have the friggin' mental or the intelligence to know what you're watching. Honestly, bro. Honestly. If watching this movie is that's all you see, that's all you can criticize, bro, you got a lot of friggin' problems, bro. A lot of problems. Because, like I said, this touched me in a way where it's like, anytime I see a person that looks like they're having a bad day, I'm just gonna be like, yo, how you doing? Even if it's a fucking stranger. And like, we just gotta learn how to be nicer to people. That's what this movie is saying. See people. Not only just see your problems, see people. You know what I'm saying? Treat people like fucking humans. That's what he's trying to get across. How do y'all not get that? Yo, this is crazy. Crazy, man. Like, and it's like, yo, and stop telling the creator what he should create. This is stuff that he knows. This is stuff that he grew up with. Tyler Perry came from the struggle. So, of course, that's what he puts in his films. He can't only put success stories. That's not what he grew up around. Like, learn the man's story before you criticize. That's all I'm saying. But, yo, I give this movie a 10 and 10 because every single emotion was on point. And the fact that the way it ended, it was heartbreaking, but it's understandable. You know, it shows that you're emotionally mature to understand this movie. You know what I'm saying? I'm sorry, man. Like y'all got me lost for words, man. But like stuff like this should not be on the internet, hands down.
Out to him, like he said, it was a 10 out of 10. I definitely agree. Like, first of all, do not listen to the internet critics. Don't even listen to the people that do it as a job. I've seen film critics criticize films and then I've gone and watched it and it's like, did we watch the same film? So movies, films, TV shows, series, always watch it for yourself. And that's why I didn't want to jump on this and do a video without actually watching it myself. You know what I mean? Like, make it make sense. I agree with him. When you watch stuff, people take away different things. Again, some people are very shallow and they just watch films just to watch a film or to be entertained. But some films, it's to learn history. Like with Sinners, I learned history. I didn't know Asians were in America, in Mississippi in the 1930s, like that, working with the black community. You know what I mean? So even with that, and obviously Irish being over there, I learned history watching Sinners. So that's what I mean with films. It's to take from it, like you said, comprehend, and even like with this, like you said, what like the humanity is gone. You know, the whole AIs are coming in and social media. No one doesn't talk or communicate anymore. So, like you said, you can see someone having a bad day or just down on their luck, and you'll just walk past them or ignore them, or you know what I mean, look down at them. So, like he said, now from now on, when he sees people and he feels like they're having a bad day, he's gonna say hello and you're all right. Like I learned that working in a supermarket, a lot of customers want someone to talk to or they want to get stuff off their chest. I remember once working, I think I was heavily pregnant, and I seen a child with a disability and it looked like the same disability that my son has. So I said to the woman, "Oh, is your son da 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 da?" And she was like, "Yeah, how do you know her?" And I was just like, "Listen," you could just tell she was tired, frustrated. I was like, "Listen, I know the struggle. I feel your pain because I've got a son." Da, da, da. And she was just like, "Oh my gosh, really?" You know what I mean? So now she just felt having a child with disability or a terminal illness, you feel like you're the only one going through it. So when you can share that or offload or share experiences or tips, it feels so good. But I definitely agree. We need to start letting on more to people, checking in, because people be like, I'm fine, but they ain't fine. You know what I mean? They're literally drowning, but you know what I mean, they don't know how to share that or to explain it, you know what I mean? So I definitely agree with that, you know, the empathy, like we just need to bring back that humane humanity, like it's gone and it's going even more now that AIs and all these robots are coming through, and they wonder why so many people are anxious, have anxiety, or depressed, you know what I mean, or just mental illness in general, you know what I mean? They just, as human beings, even if you don't have a spouse or a companion, we need communication. And I'm not talking about on the phone. Eye contact. You remember growing up, what you would learn in school, you have to give eye contact, you know, respect, talk to people, touch, you know, our senses, you know what I mean? So I definitely agree what he said. No, he was preaching. He was actually getting me teary eyed because the way he was just preaching, and even he said, like, I don't want to go off, but he was just like, you lot are pissing me off. And I hear it. Again, Tyler Perry, the films he talks about, his mom, his aunties, it's what he grew up and knew. And I definitely agree when he said in his films, he does touch on black women being more successful than black men or even white men. He does, you know what I mean? He has got a couple of films like that. And like he said, even this film was about Taraji, a black woman. It touched him because black men be going through it too. So I definitely agree with that. And even the community, I don't know where this was set in America, but eventually people came out supporting her because one of the hostages, I think it was one of the bankers, they were secretly recording her and it went viral or live. And then, you know, news reporters were speaking to her neighbors, her colleagues, and they were like, she's a good woman. She's gone through this, this, and this. So people started rallying behind her and supporting her, especially when she mentioned about the racist cop trying to take her out. You know what I mean? A lot of black people can relate. They've had bad encounters with feds. You know what I mean? But yeah, I definitely agree with him. Like he said, he was inspired by this film. It touched him. He's had days like that. Like, listen, we're all human. We all have bad days, and it's some worse than others. But like he said, you know, growing in poverty, growing in the hood, you working 3 jobs, and it just feels like you're in that like hamster wheel. Like you're just going round and round. You're not getting anywhere, and no one cares. Basically, the system don't care. The government don't care. Friends and family, you know, people are just wrapped up in their own world. So I definitely he touched on a lot of stuff, and I definitely agree with.
I don't care what y'all say. I don't know where I would be without The Pursuit of Happiness. That movie really changed me. And it was a black man struggle movie. Y'all not gonna like what I'm finna say, but come on, let's talk about it. I seen a post yesterday that said Tyler Perry need to stop making struggle movies. And why? We are struggling. That Straw movie really depicts how some women are. It depicts how some women move. It really depicts how some women are struggling in today's society. It's a lot of women out here carrying a whole load of life when they shouldn't even have to, at least not by themselves. We keep saying Tyler Perry need to make more realistic movies. This is as real as it get. We need to get back to our roots. We need to get back to our real struggle stories. I don't care what nobody say. Struggling make black people unique. Struggling show how black men and women are really strong for real. I don't look at struggle movies as like looking down on black people. I see it as though we putting our reality on the screen. This is our reality. This is how we living. My grandma always told me it's best to tell an ugly truth than to keep up with a pretty lie. I don't
Grandma, that's the truth. Listen, if you come from the hood or come from like lower class, like it is what it is. Like that's you. Coming from like the lower class or from the hood, it definitely builds character compared to someone that's grew up, you know, in a posh area or the suburbs. You know what I mean? It's your destiny, sadly enough. No one should have to struggle in life. You know what I mean? But it is what it is. You know what I mean? But I definitely agree with what he said. Like again, Tyler Perry, he's looking at his mom, his aunties. A lot of his films are based around that. And like you said, even if you're not struggling or you live in the suburbs or like a posh area, you know someone, or maybe like people that move from the hood, then finally move in the like. All right, let's use Friday. So when Ice Cube or Craig, when he left the hood and started living with his uncle in the suburbs, he had to go back. Like his parents, his sister was still living in the hood. You know what I mean? So sometimes it's things like that. But I definitely agree with what he said. If you're not struggling, trust me, you know someone that's struggling. We already know on this channel, I talk about a lot of these women that have multiple kids, multiple baby daddies. The struggle is real, you know what I mean? Taraji P. Henson in this, she only had one child, but again, the child had a terminal illness, so we already know that's hard on its own. But again, you see it all the time. These women, you know what I mean, who are getting food stamps, they've got a bag of kids. That struggle is real. She might have a job, she might not, you know what I mean? Like the struggle is real. We see it even if we don't know someone, we see it every day. So it is good that he is shining a spotlight on them because they need recognition too. But yeah, he said a lot of good stuff. And like he said, the pursuit of happiness, that touched him, you know what I mean? Like again, that was for the fellas and this time it's for us. But there are a lot of single dads and people like that who are trying to hold down a job, trying to take care of their child, you know what I mean? It's a lot and it's reality. It's sad, it's very sad. And this is what I mean. Just be kind to people because you literally just don't know what they're going through. And this is why I love TikTok and YouTube because they might be holding down a 9 to 5, but then they can do this on the side so they've got an extra income. Myself, I'm a single parent. I had a 9 to 5 last year, but because of childcare reasons, this came too much. And now, as you see me, I'm trying to do this YouTube thing, and I'm trying to do this hair thing on the side. So, the grind don't stop. And again, these days in this cost of living climate, you do have to have multiple incomes, multiple jobs, even if you've got no kids, just for yourself. You know what I mean? Housing, the cost to rent or even to be a homeowner, it's ridiculous. Food, eggs for you lot in America, you know what I mean? But yeah, he made some really, really good points in his video.
I see why everybody say Tyler Perry movies are really the same because Straw was trash. I'm sorry, like that movie was not good. Everybody, not everybody. A lot of people are on here. Oh my god, oh my god, oh my god. Like if you think Straw was good, I kind of like see what kind of person you are. Like I think you think that like drama is entertaining. Like from the beginning of that movie, it was just out of control. And then like when they do unrealistic shit in movies, like when she threw her shit outside, like knowing that that's like not how eviction process works, I think like part of that is what irritated me. But like yeah, like that movie was not good. Like I don't know what Tyler Perry has with having women be in distress. Like this lady was literally in distress in every scene in this movie, and then the whole damn movie was in the bank. I got tired of watching this shit and went on outside and started getting packages and bringing them in the house. I come back in the house, they still in the bank. The movie ended in the bank. Like, girl, no. Then how y'all ended the movie, I think we all expected to see her herself. No, like she just walked out the bank and gave up after doing all of, like, I'm sorry, that movie was trash. Do not waste my time again. I would give it a 4 out of 10.
Unheard him again on this channel. I'm non-biased, so I like to hear from both sides. He said it was trash. The gentleman, what, 2 videos back said it's a 10 out of 10. My sister enjoyed it. I've given it a 6. You know what I mean? It was just a bit too traumatic, and it touched on a lot of stuff that I've been through in life. So yeah, but I am happy the way it ended. If it ended the other way, I probably would have gave it a lower score, maybe like what he said. But I definitely agree. The scenes in the bank, you know what I mean. But again, that's what annoys me with Tyler Perry. He has unrealistic things. Not just him. A lot of films do. Soaps in the UK, EastEnders pisses me off when they do unrealistic things. You know what I mean? We're trying to relate. We already know it's fake, but make it realistic as possible. Like he said, for her to just walk out the bank, and you know what I mean. It's just like, yeah, even when they thought she had a bomb, and it's just like really, bitch, like come on. And again, the landlord, like you said, people can't just throw you stuff out, evictions. Now, listen, her landlord was one of them hood landlords, so I feel like in the hood they can do that. It doesn't mean it's right. It's just like squatters. Squatters have more rights than the actual homeowner. Does that mean it's right? No, but you know what I mean. I do get what he's saying. Like landlords can't even do that. You know what I mean? They've got to do the whole Section 21, da 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 da. But at the same time, this was a hood landlord, so who knows? And then obviously the situation at the bank, that wasn't realistic because they can cash your check, especially when they know, you know what I mean. Especially when you're a regular, like you're a regular customer. Like, stop playing with me. But yeah, guys, that's it for this video. Let me know, have you seen the film and what would you rate it? And what do you think of Tyler Perry, you know what I mean, and his movies? And yeah, big ups once again to Raji P. Henson. Her acting was A star as usual. Make sure you still subscribe because YouTube been messing with my subscription and my numbers. But yeah, I'm currently on 600 and I'm about to hit my 4,000 watch hour times. Put the picture on there. But yeah, guys, trying to get that 1K by August. So please, if you're new here, do subscribe. And thank you for watching this video and do share it. And yeah, stay safe. Please like, comment, subscribe, and share this video. Stay safe, and I'll see you in my next one.